viewfinder, image.
Hi guys, so I figured I would do story time for you today. Well, because either Tuesdays or Thursdays I do story time. So today I'm going to be talking about something that happened with a laptop computer that I owned about, I would say 8 years ago. Yeah, about 8 years ago. So let's see, it was an HP laptop and it was, I don't even know like the model number or anything like that, but I bought it after I had my Sweet 16 because I had gotten over $1,000 and I decided to put that money toward a laptop because I had a desktop computer that we all were sharing, and it was actually a computer that was given to me by the Commission for the Blind, but you know, my family, they didn't have any other options, so we all just shared it. So I wanted a laptop so I could use it on my bed, bring it wherever, So instead of just saving it or buying, whatever, buying this, buying that, I decided to buy a laptop. So I did just that. It was an HP laptop, like I said. I think it was a 15-inch. Yeah. So I got it in April of '08. And I had to keep it there overnight. Like I couldn't, like we bought the laptop one day and one day we bought the laptop and then I couldn't take it home right away. I don't even know why. I mean, because the laptop that you see that's like out is just like a model. It's just like on display. And then you get a new one that's in a box. So yeah, you don't get that same laptop that's on display. So I don't know why I couldn't take it home right away, but I couldn't take it home. I had to keep it there overnight, so my mom had to go the next day and get it. So I remember I was using it. I put AIM on it and set up everything I needed, put Word on it, the programs I needed. And I was still in high school, so back then I was just using it like for fun. So I would say, so it was working really well. Let's see. So I got it in April of '08. And I remember in October of that same year, so 6 months later, it wasn't working right. It was the end of October, and I remember I think I was on it. Yeah, I was on the computer. I was on AIM or whatever, and all of a sudden it just shut off. And I thought, oh, maybe it was just updating itself. Maybe it died. Maybe this. Maybe that. So I made sure it was plugged in all the way, and I tried to turn it back on, thinking, oh, maybe the power cord fell out or whatever. So I tried putting it back on, turning it back on, and it did not turn on. Nothing at all happened. It was dead as a doornail. No, nothing at all happened. So, a few weeks went by, and I never really looked into it or told anybody that it wasn't working. So I was just using the family computer for AIM and whatever, whenever, when nobody was using it, of course. So, let's see. In November of that year, November of '08, what happened was I remember.
Dice World notification. Dice World. Your roll with Linden 506.
I remember I had eventually told my mom it wasn't working because, she went to use it and she was like, "Oh, has your computer been working?" And I told her no. She said, "Oh, why didn't you tell me?" So I was like, I don't know, I just didn't. And so we tried to figure out like what was going on, and we tried turning it on, and it did come on, but it looked like it was like asking us to do something. I don't even know what. So we just like kind of left it on, but like it still wasn't working right. It just was not. I just knew something wasn't right.
Twitter notification. Twitter mentioned by MK Freak 1992 at the Apple Girl 22. Good luck with getting them delivered without them melting.
Yeah. So I knew something with this laptop definitely wasn't right. So I think it was my mom. My mom called the Geek Squad. So yeah, she called the Geek Squad, the manufacturer, because when you have problems with them, you're supposed to call like the manufacturer, I think. So she called one of them. I think it was, it was a manufacturer that she called. She told them, it wasn't turning on, it wasn't acting right. So they sent us a new hard drive because they think it was the hard drive that went. So a couple weeks, or yeah, maybe about a week later, because they sent us the hard drive, and then the same week, I have a technology teacher that works with me. Well, he doesn't work with me anymore, but he did. He used to work with me, and he came over to see if he could look at the computer. And again, it was, I don't even remember like what he did. It was like he had it doing something, and it took like forever and a day, and he took and he actually, he was over our house like until like 7, 8 o'clock that night with his driver, and he was trying to fix it, but they actually left while it was doing its thing, and they went to get something to eat. That was when we had our dinner, and he said, just don't let anybody touch it. So, yeah. So, we just let it do its thing, and it still just was not working, and they were like, we're going to need to take this with us. So, my technology instructor, he took it back to his office with him, and they were working on it, and they put the new hard drive in, and it was all better. So the first time my computer stopped working was because of the hard drive. The hard drive died. So, yes, I don't remember if I lost everything. I think, yeah, I'm sure I did, because, like my technology instructor, he came over to give me my laptop back, and we had to download stuff all over again and things like that. So, yeah. So then let's see. So that was November of that year. So in July of 2009, the same thing happened. It wasn't, I went to use the computer. I turned it on to, boot it up, and pressed the power button. Nothing. I was like, oh no, not again. Nothing happened. So I was like, okay, this is very familiar to what happened like 6 months ago. So next day, I told my mom it wasn't working right. Again, she called the manufacturer, and this time they thought that the problem was it got overheated. So they said that I should use it on my lap. Or not on my lap. They said not to use it on my lap, and to use it like on a desk so it could breathe. Because with the air vent was on the back, so if it's like against my clothes, it can't breathe, like there's no, the hot air can't really come out properly if it's like on my lap. Like, if it has direct contact with my clothes, that's gonna definitely affect it. So I remember it still wasn't working, so we took it to a Geek Squad, and I don't even remember what they did, but they turned it on, and it started making this weird sound, and I was like, okay, I don't even remember like what they did or anything like that, but it just like was working again. So I remember, okay, so I was able to use it, but it wasn't charging, because I would check the battery status, and it was not charging. So I remember like it just kept going down, and when I shut it down, it would charge. So it was charging when it was off, but it wasn't charging when it was on, which I found that really to be strange, because So whenever it was dying, I just had to shut it off, let it charge, and then when it was full, I would just use it. So this was going on, and and then eventually it just stopped charging. Like, the battery kept going down, I turned it off. It still wasn't charging. And it wasn't charging, period. So I told my mom what was going on, and she called the the manufacturer again, and it turned out that I needed a new power cord. So they sent us a new power cord. Now, you have to know the model number because, HP, well, you have to know the model number. So I'm sure she told them the model number. So, they sent us a new power cord. So my computer was working again after that. So that was July. So, I had my computer. I had it working. It was working. And I remember the first time it broke, the hard drive incident. My mom was like, because when they fixed it, she saw, I was back on my computer. I was happy, that. Like, well, why didn't you tell me sooner that it wasn't working? Like, I didn't tell her for like 3 weeks that it wasn't working. So, yeah, but this time I kind of told her right away because she went to use my computer and she was like, oh, is this working? I'm like, oh no, but so I just told her right away. So, yeah. So basically in November of 2009, I was having more problems with the computer. So, it wasn't turning on, or it would turn on, but it kept the fan just kept going on and off, and that's all it was doing. It wouldn't boot up, nothing was happening. It just kept the fan just kept turning on and off. Whenever it was on, I even went to bed and left it on to see if anything would happen. All night it was just the fan was just going on and off, and it was freezing up. At one point, I got it to work, but because my brother looked at it and he was like, because I held down the power button and gave it one of the a hard reset, because you're supposed to do it, and we got it to work, but it was it still was frozen, freezing up. It still wasn't working right. So I remember we took it to this guy that we know, that someone that we know knew, and we took it to him, and he fixed computer, or he fixed it. So he had it for about a month. I think it was about a month he had it. And I don't even remember what was wrong with it, but he fixed it. So, so worked, that was December of 2009 when I got it back. So it worked for about a week. And then, again, it was just freezing up. I mean, it was still freezing up, when I had it. So, it was when I would close, I'd have to close the lid in order to get it to unfreeze. It was just freezing up all the time. I really couldn't use it. So, a week passed by when I had it back for this. I even lost track of how many times I went without it, but this was December of 2009 when I got it back. And I remember I still couldn't use it. So about a week went by when I had it back for what's maybe the fourth time now. And it again just wasn't working right. It shut off. It wouldn't come on. And then eventually just started doing that thing that with the fan kept going on and off. So we gave it back to this guy. And this is somebody we knew. Somebody we knew. So it was somebody we trusted with my computer. So I didn't have it for 2 months. So I finally get it back. And he told us that what the problem is, or was that it got overheated, and I guess either from me using it a lot or from me having it on my lap a lot, it shorted it out. So it got overheated, and so it really couldn't work the way it should, the way it was supposed to. So the thing is, I was still able to use it, but I had to keep it stationary. I couldn't have it on my lap. I had to get an external keyboard. So it was basically just like using a desktop, but it was better than nothing. So I got it back in like, yeah, I got it back in March of that year. So March of 2010, we're going into now. So I was like 2 months without my computer, and then March of 2010, I got it back. So I remember it was, so the thing is, I couldn't move it around. I had to keep it in like one place, so I couldn't like carry it from like my bedroom to the dining room or whatever. So I kept it in the dining room. So, because if we even if you like were to pick it up and carry it and put it like on another table or just move it somewhere else, it would like stop working. It just would affect how it works. So, yeah. So, I would say for about, so March, I had it for 4 months, and then in July of that year, it just totally, stopped working. Nothing we could do fixed it. It was freezing up, and then got to a point where it just wasn't turning on, and we actually had to move it around, and we thought, maybe us moving it, because I had it in my bedroom, and I think, because at one point I did put it in my bedroom, so we thought, maybe just, and I think I moved it again, think for moving it a little too much, kind of just stopped it from working, so unfortunately we had to throw it in the trash. We had to throw it away because it just like totally stopped working. Nothing we could do, like I said, nothing we can do was able to fix it. It was freezing up. It just wasn't working right. It wasn't working at all. So we threw it away, and I was without a computer for about 6 weeks until I got a new laptop from the Commission for the Blind for school. And I have not had any problems with this one. I had one little scare with it when I was like, oh no. I remember I had it for like 4 months, and it would freeze. Like I would turn it on, and I had to password protect it. Yeah, I had to password protect it because my brother was using it like at random, and I didn't want him using it. So I had to put a password on it, and when I went to type my password, it was just frozen. It was like it would freeze up, and I was like freaking out, and I was like I had like an assignment to print out. So, my brother, we had a computer in my brother's room because we didn't have the other computer, the desktop anymore that we had in my living room. We threw that away. So, because that was like, it was old, it was getting slow. So, my mom helped me print it out, but she had said to me, she's like, don't worry, you're not going to go through what you went through with the other one. So, I remember the next day, she took some time off work, and she brought it to, the Geek Squad, and the guy took it apart, and I don't even know what he did, but it just worked. I mean, I don't know what happened, but then a couple days later, it was doing it again, and then it worked. So, I think, and it was just doing it, but I guess it was just, I don't know, maybe it was just just a technical difficulty, kind of like what we all experience, so it was nothing major, because it still works to this day. I mean, the only, problem, I don't want to say it's a problem because it's, it's almost 6 years old at this point, but I have to keep it plugged in all the time. So if it's, off of the charger for, a half an hour, it will die. So it has to stay plugged in all the time, but, so it basically has to be on AC power all the time in order for it to work, but you know what? That's to be expected because it's old. So, yeah, I would rather that than the computer to continue breaking. Because I really, for this, with the other laptop I had, for, a year and a half, it was just, the, other people had it to fix it more than I actually had it. I know it seems crazy, but it's like my technology teacher had it. It was with this guy that we knew. Other people had it to fix it than I had it. So I really think I should have got my money back for it. But we never really went forward with that or anything. So, yeah. But yes, just needless to say, with that laptop, I had a lot of problems with it. Between a hard drive dying, it wasn't charging, overheating. It was, yeah. Like I said, it was with other people more than it was actually with me. Which, yeah, it's pretty sad. But anyway, I know this video is probably kind of long, so I'm going to end it now, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye guys.